Supreme Court asked the UP government, why are you allowing Kanwar Yatra during COVID? The court also asked Centre for a response. Uttarakhand government has said no to the Yatra. Cabinet clears dearness allowance hike for the government employees and pensioners. The new rate of 28% is with effect from 1st of July. India-China foreign ministers meet in Dushanbe, discuss LAC tension. S. Jaishankar tweets that he highlighted that unilateral change of status quo is not acceptable and that peace in border areas is essential for development of ties. India's first startup IPO, Zomato, leads the way. On first day, 9,375 crore IPO is subscribed 1.75 times. Fellow startups wish Zomato all the best. Hello and welcome to NDTV 24/7. I'm Rohit Wellington. Let's begin with our top story. The Supreme Court has taken notice of an article in the Indian Express which says that Uttar Pradesh will go ahead with the Kanwar Yatra, an annual pilgrimage which attracts lakhs of followers across several North Indian states. The court has issued notice to the UP government, centre and the Uttarakhand government, which has cancelled the Yatra in its districts. This even as parts of the country face another crisis, shortage of vaccines, something that has now triggered a political war of words between the centre and the non-BJP ruled states.
The Supreme Court read the news today and took prompt steps over Chief Minister Adityanath's decision to go ahead with this, the Kanwar Yatra. Millions of people, especially from the northern states, go to Haridwar and back on foot. Because of the potential super spreader nature, it has been suspended twice by the host government Uttarakhand. But Uttar Pradesh, which also has a BJP government, insists on allowing this. The court today said, disparate political voices all speaking at the same time, it is important the centre respond. All of this amid the Prime Minister saying we cannot compromise even one bit. The Yatra is to leave from the 25th of July. We want an early response.
कोविड के नियमों का पालन करते हुए मिलाव करेंगे, तो उस प्रकार से व्यवस्था की जाएगी, इस प्रकार से कोरोना को लेकर कोई दिक्कत भी ना आए और लोगों की श्रद्धा भी पूरी हो जाए.
UP's adamance for a potential super spreader event comes even as the centre issued a warning today over the rise in the reproduction number, an indication that cases are rising in some states. It asks states and union territories to hold authorities responsible for crowd control at hotspots like shops, stations and parks. But crowds like these at a Bihar vaccination centre expose another snowballing crisis, a shortage of doses which has erupted into a political blame game between the centre and the non-BJP led states. The new Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia today accused them of making useless statements only to create panic among the people. Chief Ministers of Tamil Nadu and now Kerala and Jharkhand have complained.
वैक्सीन की स्थिति तो चिंता का तो विषय है. अब इस पे राज्य सरकार के हाथ से तो बिल्कुल हर चीज कोई भी कंट्रोल में तो है नहीं.
കേരളത്തിൽ ലഭ്യമാകേണ്ടതിന്റെ ആവശ്യകത പ്രധാനമന്ത്രിയുടെ ശ്രദ്ധയിൽപ്പെടുത്തുകയുണ്ടായി.
In Delhi, unlike yesterday when most government-run vaccination centers were shut due to shortage, today the centers were functional, but there were long queues of people waiting to get vaccinated as the new supplies have come in, but they are still not enough.
India is currently vaccinating an average of 33 lakh people daily, while the target is supposed to be 88 lakh daily vaccinations in order to vaccinate at least 60% of India's population by the end of this year. With Sukirti Dwivedi in New Delhi, Anasya Mathur for NDTV.
The other big story, the Cabinet has approved the hike in dearness allowance to 28% with effect from 1st of July. It's a move that will benefit lakhs of central government employees and pensioners. Sunil Prabhu has his report.
The Cabinet meeting in person for the first time in a year. One of the biggest announcements which will benefit over 1 crore people, 48 lakh central government employees and 65 lakh pensioners will get their dearness allowance restored from the 1st of July, an increase from the existing 17%. However, for the first time, they will not be given retrospectively.
The government has decided to increase the dearness allowance to central government employees and dearness relief to the pensioners
with effect from 1st July 2021. इसका लगभग 34,400 करोड़ रुपए का प्रतिवर्ष इसका प्रभाव पड़ता है.
Central government employees and unions wanted their dearness allowance to be given retrospectively, but the union cabinet decided against it since they had already taken a decision and would find it difficult to manage the economy in these troubled times with an additional burden of 35,000 crores. They hope with this increase, they will increase the expenditure in terms of consumption and help revive the economy. With camera person Pooja Arya, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
Shifting focus to Uttar Pradesh now, Prime Minister Modi is in his parliamentary constituency Varanasi on Thursday to inaugurate development projects there. Meanwhile, the party's state unit is also getting into a huddle in Lucknow starting Thursday. Sanket Upadhyay gets us all the details.
So as far as the big battle for Uttar Pradesh is concerned, it seems that it is Mission 2022 and the BJP has sounded the poll bugle. The Prime Minister is going to be in his constituency Varanasi tomorrow. He's expected to inaugurate a whole host of events. In fact, he tweeted out also saying tomorrow 15 July I will be in Kashi to inaugurate development projects in his constituency. Now these include the Rudraksh Convention Center, which you can see in this picture. Also the maternal and child health unit at the Banaras Hindu University. Even the Ro-Ro ferry service on the Ganges River is going to be inaugurated or thrown open to the people. We're also hearing that there is a 100-day action plan for a spate of development projects that could in fact be announced. But while this is happening, this is not the only strategy of the BJP. The state unit is also getting into a huddle from Thursday, exactly on the day the Prime Minister is going to be in his constituency. Party functionaries are going to hold a 2-day meeting in Lucknow. Yogi Adityanath is going to chair the meeting on day 1. So he's going to be in Lucknow for this meeting, and he's going to chair this particular meeting on day 1. BJP state office bearers and Morcha heads are going to attend, and the state working committee of the BJP is going to meet on Friday, and this will be virtually addressed by the BJP chief JP Nadda. So a big action plan. It's only after these 2 days that the BJP will be able to firm up their strategy on how to go about. But it's very clear that they've sounded the poll bugle in the all-important Uttar Pradesh.
India and China have agreed that solving the border row should be prioritized, as a prolongation of the existing situation was not in the interest of either side. That's what the government has said in a statement after a meeting between Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar and his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. It was visibly impacting the relationship in a negative manner. That's what the government has said in the statement referring to the border situation. Mr. Jaishankar and Mr. Wang Yi discussed outstanding issues along the line of actual control in the meeting in Tajikistan that lasted an hour. Mr. Jaishankar tweeted that he highlighted that unilateral change of status quo is not acceptable. Full restoration and maintenance of peace and tranquility in border areas is essential for development of our ties. The big story from the world of business: India's first startup IPO, Zomato, has led the way. On first day, 9,375 crore IPO has been subscribed 1.75 times. Fellow startups wish Zomato all the best.
Zomato is the hottest thing on the IPO menu for a long time. An initial public offering or stock launch is a public offering in which shares of a company are sold to institutional investors and usually also retail investors. The food delivery app hopes to raise 9,375 crore rupees, but over 4,000 crores has already been booked by anchor investors, which are institutional investors invited to subscribe to the shares before IPOs open, and also including sovereign wealth funds even before the IPO opened today. The demand was reportedly 30 times higher than shares on offer.
We've received an extremely positive response from global and domestic institutional investors. As I always said, I think we're really excited to see the response, but it also puts a lot of responsibility on us. And we hope that we'll get a similar response from retail and other domestic non-institutional investors as well.
Tiger Global, BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan, HDFC Mutual Fund, Tata Mutual Fund and Abu Dhabi Investors Authority, among others, include sovereign wealth funds invested as anchor investors. On day one, at the upper limit of 76 per share, the IPO was fully subscribed 1.07 times, with retail subscription at 1.65 times. For founder Deepinder Goyal, who owns 5.5% of the company, this is a massive recognition of his journey, which began as a popular restaurant search and discovery platform. In 2016, he was part of NDTV's Indian of the Year as a startup.
If someone can't spend a day at getting the company incorporated, then that person shouldn't be doing a startup anyway. Journey's always been tough. It never gets easy, no matter where you get. And I think thrice in our journey, we've gotten to a point that we can't do this anymore.
With this IPO, Zomato's market cap is expected to be 60,000 crore rupees, more than other food firms like Jubilant Foodworks, Burger King India, and more than major hotel groups put together. All this even though Zomato is about 1.3 crore rupees in debt. What investors are looking at is growth and how much market it can capture.
Incredible to see the success of all of these companies, many of them which are based on technology.
The way the market and investors value a technology company is very different. So even if it is a loss-making company, if there is a sense that the promoters are very strong, people do like to participate.
The IPO is expected to finance expansion and job creation. The company will be listed on the exchanges in a couple of weeks, and analysts expect a premium listing. But because the company doesn't have any assets of its own and the market has potential for more players to come in, the growth can be debated. In Mumbai with camera person Rajendra Dayalkar, this is Purva Chitnis for NDTV.
Now to a special ground report from Assam. In Dharamtul village, a major kidney racket has been busted. NDTV's Ratnadeep Chaudhary and Sanjay Chakravarti travelled to Dharamtul village, where they found that poverty, microfinance loan debts and even easy money are the primary reasons why villagers are opting to sell off their kidneys at 5 lakh rupees.
The 37-year-old Sumanta Das, a mason by profession, has been out of work since the lockdown. His son needed a heart operation, but with no construction activities in the pandemic, there was no money in hand. Desperate, Sumanta sold his kidney with a promise of 5 lakh rupees. But ironically, he was given only a fraction of the promised sum, a mere 1,50,000 rupees. With his one kidney gone, Sumanta now cannot perform hard labor to earn a living.
সম্পূর্ণ চিকিৎসা কৰিব পৰা নাই তাৰমানে কি বেমাৰ হৈছে কি নাই তাৰমানে হাড়ি এটা ফুটা আছে সেইখিনি চাই পেলাই গুচি আহিলো বাকি মই খৰচপাতি একো নকৰিলো গুচি আহিলো 1.5 লাখ টকা লৈ পেলাই আহে ওজন বস্তুবিলাক দাঙিব পোৱা নাযায় আৰু ভাললৈ অলপ ভাগৰ জিগ লাগে
Sumanta's village in Assam's Morigaon district, 85 kilometers from Guwahati, Dakhin Dharamtul is the center of a huge racket in illegal sale of organs. The local village defense party, or the VDP, blew the lead of the nexus, a mother and son, as they were about to sign a deal with a local villager for the sale of his kidney. The police so far have arrested 3 people and over a dozen have given statements that they were being lured to sell their kidneys. Most of them never got the promised money. The kidney transplant operations were done at a busy Kolkata hospital.
আমি 5 বছৰ হৈ তাৰমানে এই ব্যৱহাৰটো আমাৰ ইয়াপা হৈ আছে কলিকতাত গৈ কিডনি দি আছে আমি তদন্ত কৰি আছো আমি হাতেমালে তাৰমানে মানুহগৰাকীক আমি আটক কৰিব পৰা নাই
These villagers of Dakhin Dharmatul village have been brave enough to nab the agents who used to frequently come here to trap people in this kidney racket. But they feel this is just the tip of the iceberg. They want police to investigate the tentacles of this nexus, and they want government to ensure that there are measures taken so that the vulnerable people don't become a victim of such rackets in future. Women too have fallen prey to organ traffickers. Like Krishna Das with a crippled husband and loans to repay, she says it was a desperate situation.
জনমনা হাজবেণ্ড এই ভৰি ভাঙিল হাত ভাঙিল মানে একো কৰিব নোৱাৰে এতিয়া কষ্ট কাম মোৰ এতিয়া একো নাই আৰু বন্ধনতো লোন লোৱা আছে 70,000 এনেকুৱা মানে ধাৰ ধুৰ আছিল আৰু গাঁৱত অলপ মানে দিব লগা হ'ল আৰু 4.5 লাখ দিম বুলি কৈছে এতিয়া 1 লাখ পাব আছে
From Dakhin Dharmtul village with cameraperson Sanjay Chakravarti, this is Ratndeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
A Delhi court has fined the Delhi police 25,000 rupees for failing in its statutory duty in connection with one of the Delhi riot cases of February 2020. The complainant had received a bullet injury in the eye during the riots. He petitioned the court saying that the Delhi police had failed to register his complaint.
Callous, ruthless and cruel. That's what a Delhi court has said about Delhi police's treatment of this man. 36-year-old Nasir lost an eye in the Delhi riots in February last year. He was attacked allegedly by his neighbors, but despite repeated requests, the Delhi police did not file an FIR. Instead, they attached his complaint to another case, which was totally unconnected. With no one listening to him, Nasir went to court.
जब मेरे शूट किया सामने से तो मैं तो आरोपियों को देख सकता हूं किसने शूट किया उसके बाद पुलिस से हमने गुहार लगाई तो पुलिस ने कोई हमारी गुहार नहीं सुनाई जितने भी ऑप्शन थे हमारे पास डीसीपी साहब कमिश्नर साहब सबके पास गुहार लगाई पर वहां से कोई भी हमें कोई रिस्पांस नहीं मिला
Today, a local court in Delhi has fined the Delhi police 25,000 rupees and reprimanded them for mishandling the case. The court said Delhi police's action in the matter has been callous and ruthless. It is evident that the police was working to save the accused. The Delhi police failed miserably in its statutory duty. How did the Delhi police give a clean chit without a probe? Delhi police's actions are astonishing and cruel.
नासिर साहब को ये भी आज़ादी दी गई है कि आप पुलिस के खिलाफ एक्शन करो कि इस केस में जो कमियां उजागर हुई हैं कि दिल्ली पुलिस के कुछ अधिकारियों ने इस प्रकार से काम किया है जो कि आपराधिक गतिविधियां हैं तो उसको कैसे ठीक किया जाएगा इस पे कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस को डायरेक्शंस दी गई है कि आप ये सब चीजें दुरुस्त करके कोर्ट को बताएंगे ये महत्वपूर्ण बात
NDTV's request for a comment from the Delhi police got no response.
One accused in this case, his name is Naresh Gaur. He's ex-MLA of BJP from Babarpur Vidhan Sabha. FIR will be registered against him after this order. And one more point which I would like to highlight. That time, not his DCP was Ved Prakash Surya. Now he has been transferred. He has sought President's Medal for his bravery in Delhi riot cases. But now, after this judgment of the court, where court is questioning Delhi police and saying that Delhi police has failed to do its statutory responsibilities, is that medal justified? In New Delhi, with Mohammad Muslim, Saurabh Shukla for NDTV.
Welcome back. A village in Haryana where Supreme Court had refused to stay the demolition of 10,000 illegally constructed houses saw the civic body carry out the demolitions of 150 houses on Wednesday. In the middle of the monsoons, families have been left homeless. Does the government have any rehabilitation plan for them? Akshay Dongre gets you the ground reality.
Looking for the remains of her life in rubble of her home. Rachna, a resident of Khodi village in Faridabad, is trying to overcome the shock of seeing her house demolished in Khodi village. She has nowhere to go. She and her family will now have to live in the open.
सब यहीं पे लगा दिया अब कुछ नहीं है गांव में से भी बेच के यहीं लगा दिया बारिश के मौसम में भीगते रहे और लोग पुलिस तोड़ती रही हम बस अब यही है कि सरकार देखे हमारी तरफ कुछ दे हमें
With hundreds of security personnel in town, Haryana's Faridabad Municipal Corporation today raised encroachments on forest land in Faridabad's Khodi village, rendering thousands homeless in the middle of the monsoon. 22-year-old Ragini is trying to shelter under a tarpaulin with all her belongings. What is our fault? She asks.
जब मतलब हमने लिया तब क्यों नहीं ऑप्शन उठाया और पैसे ले लेते हैं 500 रुपए 1000 रुपए लेते हैं कि दो हमको हम घर बचाएंगे फिर वो पैसे कहाँ जाते हैं
The demolition has come with just days to go for the Supreme Court deadline to clear encroachments on forest land here.
तो we will be very sure कि जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर है वो लेटर ऑफ स्पिरिट में हम इम्प्लीमेंट करें.
The Faridabad authorities today demolished approximately 500 illegal residential complexes. However, the residents of Khuri claim that they have been told that in the next 5 days, all of the Khuri village will be cleared, which has similar 10,000 more residential complexes.
Under policy for rehabilitation of Khodi Jhuggi dwellers framed by the Municipal Corporation of Faridabad, residents of Khodi will be shifted to EWS flats in the district's Dabua colony and Bapunagar. However, conditions apply. EWS flats are for families with an annual income of up to rupees 3 lakhs. They will get 2,000 rupees a month for the next 6 months. The EWS flats, however, will not be free of cost. After an initial deposit of 17,000 rupees, there will be monthly installments of 2,500 rupees for 15 years. Most people here have neither the documentation mandatory to be allotted these flats, nor can they afford to pay for them.
As over a lakh rendered homeless amid monsoon and the government yet again promising rehabilitation for the people, the question remains, will those who let these illegal settlements to flourish be held accountable? With camera person Sudesh Ram and colleague Mohammad Ghazali, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.